Hello, good morning. Welcome to Cuppa with Katie. Lovely to see you on this bright sunny day. Can't believe it. I went for a gorgeous dog walk this morning and it was very frosty and very crispy underfoot, which is absolutely beautiful. And I just literally, received the rays of sunshine on my face. I needed it so much. Need that vitamin D any way we can get it at the moment, right? Right, so today I've got an amazing special guest, Lucy Brand, and she is ready to join us. Hold on one second. Are you joining? I think she's coming. Hey, Wendy. Hey, Linda. Good to see you guys. There she is.
Hi.
Hi, darling woman. How are you?
I'm good, thanks, gorgeous. How are you?
I've got a very similar plant next to me, but it's not as healthy as yours. You can't see it, can you? It's not in shot. Hey, Kellyanne. Hi, Linda. Hey, Emma. So lovely to have you guys joining. I've got the thickest, warmest, wooliest jumper on, and I'm really hot. I feel myself flushing up.
Yeah, it's actually quite. It's -3 here, I think, today.
Same
-5
here.
last night. Oh, really?
Yeah. It's freezing outside, but I think I've got layers on underneath my massive jumper as well. I don't want to be cold.
I'm just gonna share this video while we're on here. I've not done it on my phone before, so
that's very tech savvy of you. Well done. Well, while you're doing that, let me introduce you. So, on today's Cup with Katie, I have brought in Lucy Brand. Well, for many reasons. The world needs to know Lucy, quite frankly. There's that, and and she's a big part of my world at the moment. She's supported me personally. Actually, we've done some great healing sessions together, and I intend to do more. And she's supporting some of my clients who are part of my program called Daring and Mighty Love. We'll talk about that later. But Lucy, I'm just looking at my screen here. Lucy supports, and I love this, because when I wrote this morning, I realized, like, this is me. So who you support, it's like, oh yeah, that's me. That's how I know you. Lucy supports women visionaries to become empowered, wealthy, turned on leaders who create huge positive change in the world. And I love that so much. Lucy's a mystic. She's an energy worker. She's a business coach. She's a speaker. And she founded the Mystic Ministry. Actually, Lucy, what is the Mystic Ministry? Do you want to just share so that people can
Yeah, sure. So the Mystic Ministry is kind of my umbrella thing, because I feel that when we're talking about empowered, wealthy, turned on leaders, which I think the world, female leaders, the world needs this more than ever now, like more than ever. And that covers so much, because as you know, the personal and business is the same thing. You know, if there's challenges in the bedroom, there'll be challenges in the boardroom, I always say. So it's the Mystic Ministry is all about looking at every area of your life. So it could be health, it could be your relationships, it could be money, it could be confidence, and it's really looking. They're all the same thing, really, because it's all energy. But breaking it down into pieces. So the umbrella of that is the Mystic Ministry, because I feel that the mysticism is what underlies it all, because as women, we're very mystical creatures. You know, when you tap into your intuition, and when you're turned on, becoming unstoppable.
Totally. Actually, it's really funny. I was so I'm on my bouncy ball here, and I'm trying to get it. I have to use my core to keep it still. So I'm just trying to get in a position that I can keep still and not like roll around. I was reflecting this morning that on one of our sessions that we had, how you were asking me about, you know, I can't remember the exact question, but we were talking about abundance and what I really, really wanted. And it was so interesting that what I really, really, really wanted in that moment was a new car. Like, it was just it's such a, like, I just wanted a new car. And I knew that would just mean everything to me. And it's such a, like, I'm not even into cars. Like, I don't even really care about cars. but I just really felt that it was important that I had my car. And I'd had this desire for 4 years since selling my last car. And, you know, we've got a camper van and we've always got a car on the go, but I've never had my car back. And within, what was it after that session? Within like 2 weeks, I'd gone out and bought a new car.
It was just, I think that it was really about just permission
Yeah.
for you to finally show up how you wanted to, because I think that you are so amazing in the work you do. I mean, I just think it's brilliant, and just for you to then show up with your dream car that you want to do, it was just, oh, it just made me feel brilliant. I just loved it when I got that message. I was like, yes, Katie.
That's it, right? But it's a permission piece, right? And I could have said so many different things, and so many things that might have sounded sort of more spiritually aligned and more like, do you know? But I was like, I just want a car. I want a car. Yeah, no, it was, yeah, really good. So where to begin with you and us? So we did some amazing work together, and we will continue to privately. And then on the back of the amazing work we were doing together and starting to understand that one of your specialties is yoni healing and the importance of the connection between yoni and heart. And I was starting to understand that, because I have a program called Daring and Mighty Love, and it's for single women who are calling in their soulmate. It's a high-level coaching program, small, intimate group. And while it has been successful the last 3 years I've been running it, it always felt like there was something missing. And the pieces that have been missing were the pieces that were important on my own journey to calling in love. Because it's just, when it comes to healing, transformation, growth, it's not a one thing fixes all, right? It has to be a rounded, holistic approach. And for every woman, that rounded, and man, that rounded, holistic approach is going to be different for everybody. I knew, though, on my own journey, I had all sorts of different healing modalities that supported him coming in. And even like aromatherapy was a part of it, acupuncture was a part of it, energy healing was a part of it, yoni healing was a part of it. It was all part of it. So I've been bringing in different experts now into this program to give it that more well-rounded, holistic approach. So on the back of some of the work we've done together, you're now working with the women in my Daring and Mighty Love group. And I was wondering if you could explain, like, why is it important that, because I do a lot of heart healing with my clients, but I don't do yoni healing. And why is it important that we do both together?
Yeah, oh, I love that. It's a great question. And it's one that's overlooked, I think, because like you said, people focus on the heart. So with the heart, it's very important. It's very important, especially when calling in your soulmate or love, or even just with yourself, like knowing your desires, knowing what it is you want. Yeah. But the thing is, our heart, actually, as women, our heart has a direct connection with our cervix. So if you've experienced heartache, now that could be loss, maybe a relationship's broken down, or maybe you've lost a loved one, or anything like that. We're focused on healing our heart, but actually, as a woman, we need to focus on healing our wombs as well, because that heartbreak will have impacted your cervix and your womb. And then also, our womb as women is our powerhouse. That's our source of creation. So if we take it back to basics, as women, we're receivers and we're creators. So we receive sperm and create life. That's at a very base level. And so we've got the couple of things we've got to get really good at as a woman is receiving, like learning to soften into that receiving mode. So we can create. That might be creating a business, that might be creating a new relationship, but coming from the source of our womb in terms of creation is really powerful. But if your womb has sustained heartbreak or is just not very happy, it depends as well, you know, what personal experiences you've had. But also I look at past lives as well, and I also look at ancestral patterns. So your womb might be, I don't know, it's really challenging for me to describe it in tangible terms for people to grasp. So let's say your mum had experienced heartache, and so that would impact her womb, and she perhaps never dealt with it. So she passed it on to you when you were in her womb. So that means that there might be an energetic imprint of heartache, which isn't even yours, in your womb. So I would come in and clean that up. But it might be that you're wondering, "Oh, I'm doing everything." I always say I'm kind of the last resort. So people are like, I've tried all the coaching, I've tried all the affirmations. Why is it not working, Lucy? Like, why am I not calling my man? Why am I still broke? And I'm like, well, actually, it was a vow you took in a past life as a monk of poverty, or actually, this isn't even yours. It was 3 generations up on your dad's side, that they had a particular bad experience. So they were like, no, that's it. I'm not going to let love in. I'm not going to let anyone in. Yeah. And so it's about clearing all that stuff out so that your true colours and your true essence can shine through, and it's not impacted by everyone else. And it's the same with beliefs, because I'm sure a lot of people know about beliefs now and limiting beliefs. And the belief's the same. We can take on other people's beliefs. Well, it's the same with energy. We can take on other people's energy, especially if you're an empath, or other people's emotions. It's exactly the same thing. And that's why it takes a holistic approach to this if you really, really want to call in your person.
Yeah. No, it really does take a holistic approach. I completely agree. And I love that you mentioned the part, literally, I was thinking, and past lives, and then you said it. That, because that was a huge piece for me, actually. I mean, I had a session with a healer. It was some years ago now, because it was before I met James. But it was part of calling him in, but it was also part of cleaning out a really difficult, I'm going to just be really honest here. So for years, and like 20 years, I couldn't make love without getting a UTI. Like, I just couldn't. Occasionally it wouldn't happen, very occasionally, but most of the time it wouldn't. And I just learned to live with it. It just became like part and parcel, normal in my everyday life. And it wasn't until I met this healer and I was talking it through with him, and what came through was a past life experience, which I won't go into now. But when he and I were talking about it, honestly, I felt it in my body. It was like, I just, on some level, and I don't know what even the level it is, soul level, I guess, that I felt it. There's someone kind of spamming us now, which is a little bit off. Yeah. Yeah. Trying to ignore that. But it was really powerful in my body on a soul level. I felt this past life experience that was impacting my current life. And it's so interesting how that can happen. And I know in my group and some of the women you've been working with, and we won't go into detail there either because I want to protect privacy, but I do know that past lives have come up as part of the healing journey, and they feel it, they know it on a level that it's hard to put into words. They know that the healing work I mean, how can we talk about it in easier to understand terms when we're talking about past lives?
It is, I think that's the thing, because it's not tangible. And that's what I was saying. So a lot of the time people will come to me and they won't understand that why things are happening, why it's not working for them, because it's not really this isn't working because of this.
Yeah.
And when we talk about past lives, it is something that is really still, again, not very tangible.
Yeah.
But if we look at it, time doesn't exist. Sorry. So if you look at it that way, you're kind of living all the lives at the same time.
Yes.
So it kind of makes sense that, and even though we'd call it a past life, it's still impacting your life right now.
Yes.
And it's the same with future. I know that we've done work together, like you said, Katie, and one of the things I look at is future trapped emotions, because the future trapped emotions, they're the ones that are actually really keeping you stuck. Because every time you try and move forward, even if you've got the mindset piece, you'll come up against these normally lower vibration emotions. So I'm talking about shame or guilt or anything like that.
Yeah.
You'll come up against them every time you try and move forward in your relationship or whatever it might be. You come up against those emotions again, and it brings you back to square one.
Yeah.
And once again, the emotions, it's not really tangible. It's not like saying, oh, I have this belief, and you can write it out. And you're like, okay, I know I've got that belief. So how do we rewrite that? And just say it over and over again, you know,
Yeah.
to move forward. With the emotions, again, it can be tricky because you could be thinking, oh, or feeling that I'm feeling anger about this. Where if you actually break it down, perhaps it's shame, frustration, and guilt you're feeling, not anger. So it's almost like it moves around, if you see what I mean, because it's emotions are energy in motion. And what happens is if we have an experience that has impacted us in perhaps a negative way, those emotions that we feel in that time can get trapped in our body, get trapped in our energy field. And what we need to do is release them in order to move forward. Because we only actually, I always have to think about this, we only actually hold on to an emotion for not, sorry, we only actually experience an emotion for 90 seconds. So if you think about that, say you're having a bit of a heated discussion with someone, like as I think is happening quite around the world quite now at this moment. But if you're having a heated discussion with someone and after that you feel angry or frustrated because perhaps they didn't see your point of view, you have a choice. And if you hold on to that emotion of anger or frustration for more than 90 seconds, that's your choice. And then it, again, is stored in the body. So if you think from childhood, because we're not taught any of this stuff at school or anything, if you're taught from childhood, we're not even taught to really express ourselves or express our emotions. And then again, that can get stuffed down, and that's when it can cause problems.
So true. It's so true. And this weekend, you might be able to hear a bit of building work in the background, but we're having a bit of work done, and we're doing some clearing out of stuff, and came across these baseball bats that I have. So I used to run, I haven't done them in a while now, but I used to run these classes, like emotional expression, tantrum style classes. So I would give these women a baseball bat and a big foam block, and that we just sort of bashed the crap out of these foam blocks, right, to release emotion. And it was emotion that would be coming up like like from years and years and years previous, childhood, a whole lot. Anyway, my son had one of these, and he got one of the foam blocks out and he was bashing it. And I, from a very young age, I would teach him to punch and bash and get his emotions up and out as they were coming up, because they're valid, you know, you've got to release them. And I said, are you angry, darling? And he went, not really, like a little bit frustrated, but I've got rid of that now. Now I'm just doing it for fun. I was like, brilliant. But it's true, you know, most kids, well, it depends on, I mean, there's a lot more conscious parenting going on now, but I go back, you know, I was a 70s baby, and my parents did their best, and that they were great. They didn't understand the importance of sharing with a child that every single feeling you have, every emotion is valid and deserving of being witnessed, and a safe space held for you to feel it, and a safe space held for you to like process and move through it. Like we didn't know that then. We know that now. We're lucky, right? We're lucky.
Exactly.
And I love that, you know, when we do our healing work now, I know when I'm doing my own inner child healing work, I know that I'm not just clearing it for me. I know that energetically, I'd love for you to speak to this and maybe describe it in your own words. This idea of how when we show up for ourselves now and do the inner work, we're not just clearing it for us, which is why it's not selfish to do the work, because as we clear it for us, we're clearing it for multiple generations previous to us and going forward, aren't we? Could you speak to that, on the energetics of that and how that works?
Of course, yeah. So I do actually have a lot of it just leaves, especially mums with daughters, because they don't want to pass on their fears or anxieties onto their daughters. So they would come to me. And it's really beautiful because, like I said, when we clear the future trapped emotions, we can, and also the ancestral ones, we do clear for everyone. You clear in the past. And if I'm in a session with someone and we're doing a deep ancestral clearing, it's so beautiful because I will see all the ancestors lining up for you, and the gratitude that they have for you doing the clearing is just amazing, because it's energetically been weighing them down for a long time. And then future again, especially if we're talking about healing or clearing in your womb, and you have children, or you, even if you've birthed children, so because again, time doesn't exist. So
Right.
even if we were to do healing work on your womb, it would still impact your children in a positive way. But also, because the work I do is cellular level, it's really deep. So Katie will know, like from the clients that I've worked with from her Daring and Mighty program, a lot of them might need to have a sleep after working with me, especially the first one, because the work I do is quite different, and we go really deep. Even in the session, if you think, oh, I haven't really, I didn't really do much, it's like, wow, we've gone on cellular level, kind of DNA level stuff.
Yeah.
So when you restructure that, you change your energy signature. So when you change your energy signature, and usually if this has been with you for a long time, so say there's a particular issue that's been troubling you for a while, once that's cleared out, you raise your vibration to normally love or above, where you want to hang out. But that will impact everyone else around you. So if you're hanging out on love and you've softened and you're just more open and compassionate, then it'll change the people around you. And the amount of times that I've done this work, and we've worked on the person that's been working with me, and it's impacted the partner in their relationship, yet they've never had a conversation about it. We haven't talked about it. I have one client who was a really amazing marriage, but after 2 children, it was just like there was just a little bit of a disconnect. And so no one's fault or anything like that, but they wanted to reconnect. And so I just worked on her, and one day she just got a message saying, right, I've booked the babysitter, we're going on a date tonight, be ready for 7 o'clock, I'm taking you out. And that had never happened in the history of their marriage. And she was like, oh, he's even booked the babysitter. We never spoke about it, we just worked on her. But that's the impact. When you change your energy signature, you change the way people interact with you. And that's why, if you look at the bigger picture, shifting global consciousness into this new paradigm age of Aquarius, working on yourself is the best thing you can do. Because if you raise your vibration, which impacts those around you, imagine if everyone did that. Communities, the collaboration, the love, the unity, it would just be a really, really beautiful world.
I know. And I just wanted to acknowledge Michelle is here, and Lisa, and they're bringing really yummy, loving energy to the call. Thank you very much for that. It's nice to see the comments popping up with love hearts and love. Thank you.
Thank you.
So do you want to give, this is great. How easy would it be for you to give some examples of what you've been, without obviously giving away too many specifics and definitely not names, the women that you've been working with, so the single women that are in my group that you've been working with, what kind of stuff, because it's been very different and varied amongst them, right? So they think they're coming for yoni, heart healing, connection, to help them call in their soulmate, and then all sorts of things are going on. Could you share a little bit of, just to give some examples of just how holistic this approach is?
Yeah, so I think one example is when we look at in particular work calling in a male soulmate as a woman, because I work with everyone from all walks of life, whatever their sexual orientation. But if we're talking about a woman trying to call in or aligning with a male soulmate, then a lot of the time there's stuff linked back to your dad and how his energy was in your relationship, how he showed up. That can really impact a woman on, and especially the relationship between the mum and dad. I've seen people, not particular to your group, but other people I've worked with have been really not wanting marriage at all. And then when we really look at it, it's actually they do want to get married, but their parents had a horrendous divorce.
Yeah.
And so somewhere in their subconscious and somewhere in their energy field is the traumas of the arguments and everything else. So that in particular, and if you're calling in a man, then there's also your dad and the way your dad treated your mum, like the relationship that your mum and dad. And then also with women as well, it tends to be society as well, because a lot of us women, if you look at a lot of Disney movies, we look to men to rescue us. Or even recently, this is something I talk about, especially with empowering women and around wealth, is as women, we only really got the vote recently. Like as women, we were only allowed our own money recently. You know, if you didn't birth a boy, you could lose your home and be destitute.
Yeah.
There's all this kind of culturally and society, this stuff that goes on, and you may think, what's that got to do with calling in a man? It actually had a huge impact. Yeah. And then again, that's back to the ancestors. You know, if your ancestors have been particularly left in a situation that was really challenging for them because of society. So there's those things going on. And then there's also experiences as the child as well. So perhaps you, I don't know, perhaps you didn't perhaps receive much love from your parents, or it was a very difficult childhood. Again, that will impact how you show up, because it might be safer for you to be on your own and not let love in, because perhaps they were using love as a tool of control. So it's always, it's so complex. It's really so complex, and it really is not as simple. That's why I think your program's amazing, and no wonder it's 12 modules, because it is really complex if you're going to look at it properly and really shift your energy and really shift your mindset around it, because your experiences are unique. And that's why I like to work bespoke with clients, is because even though we're all women, if you like, our experiences are all different, and our the person we want to call in is going to be completely different, because I always like to say we're all as unique as our yonis, one of a kind. There's not another one in the world, and I just think that's the most beautiful thing ever. Like if you feel into that, I'm just like, that's amazing. That's how unique you are. And so your journey is going to be that unique.
And this is awesome, because what we're highlighting here is just, without wanting to put anybody off, you know, there are multiple levels and layers to the energetic blocks that could be standing in the way between you and meeting your person, right? Whether it's past life, whether it's something you've inherited from a parent or from mum in the womb, we touched on that. Whether it's your relationship with your parents when you're a little girl, the way you made meaning of their relationship, what you witnessed. I mean, it's like multiple levels and layers. And what I love about your work, though, Lucy, is that some of these pieces, some of these pain points, some of the wounding, whether it's conscious or unconscious, is actually for the woman. I'm speaking for women because I'm working with women on this program, and so are you. For these women, it's not always easy to even have vocabulary for it, to actually be able to converse about it, to have a conversation about it. So like talking therapy ain't gonna cut it. And it really is so energetic. And what's really, and I don't know if anybody watching now, and just do some hearts if you're noticing, have you noticed what a beautiful light energy Lucy has? Lucy's energy is so light. Can you feel it? Like it's just, there's no heaviness, or like it's just light and free and beautiful and clean and clear, you know. And yeah, Lisa's saying so. Yeah. And it really is, it's beautiful. And but that's the frequency that you're at, and that's the frequency that you're working on. And I know that you did this with me, and it blew me away. At first I was because I'm a natural cynic, by the way, you know, so I start
I've never known that. Really?
Yes. Oh my god. Yeah, totally natural cynic to start with. I need to kind of, Linda's saying ethereal. Yes, it is lovely. Yeah.
Thank you, Linda. Thank you, Lisa.
Yeah. And so yeah, I'm a definite natural cynic to start with, but I'm super, and as the years have gone on, I'm super open and trusting to pretty much everything now. And I'm still a little bit like, okay, because not everyone's legit, not everyone's the real deal, you know. You are the real deal. And I know that in our sessions, you used something called light language. And I know you've done that with our Daring and Mighty Love clients. And I'd love you to explain what it is, because what I've experienced of it enables healing to happen without having to engage the intellect or even engage any level of our humanness in the healing process. It could block it, it could hinder it. It might not even be comfortable or feel safe to even talk about some experiences, but the way you heal, and with using light languages, allows the client to receive the healing in just a really beautiful way. And I wondered if you could share a little bit more about what on earth light language is, because I didn't know when I first met you. I was like, what's light language?
I must admit, like, that normally the first 10-15 minutes of any first call with me is explaining what I do, and then it's still like,
so why don't you explain it now? Explain it now. We'll edit it out, then you can just send that to clients in advance.
Yes.
A little explanation.
So what I like to say is I'm practiced in shamanic healing, shamanic arts and things, and shamanic work's amazing, and I think we all need that because it's more grounded, rooted, earth-based frequencies. But that's the thing, it's earth-based frequencies. So when I was, I guess you say, downloaded light language, they don't like hierarchies, but this is the best way to describe it. So
who's they? When you say they don't like, who are you talking about?
Like source, angels, galactics, fairies, like anything in the ethereal that you can't, is not tangible, if you see what I mean. I channel and I see beyond the veil. So like if I feel into, I've got a whole entourage in this room with me right now, like of my guides and things. So it's like they don't, because again, it's old paradigm. It goes back to competition and hierarchy, and they just don't like that, because we are all one, if that makes sense. We're all part of this universe. So it kind of goes source or infinite intelligence, the divine. Then you have angels. Then you have galactics, which are kind of like extraterrestrials or star seeds, if you will. And that's who I channel, a particular race called Arcturians, which they are the healers of the galaxy. And so I channel their light language. So when I first started channeling this, it was the highest frequency I've ever channeled. And it makes you really giggly.
Yeah.
Because it is so light.
Yeah.
But what it enables me to do is they guide me where you'll need the healing. And I can see like into your DNA, I can see your energy signatures, I can see your energy patterns, and then I will heal and clear out whatever needs to be changed. And sometimes, so you don't actually have to do anything. You don't have to talk about that horrendous experience if it was bad. You don't have to articulate what's going on, because sometimes that's really challenging as well, to actually articulate even how you're feeling. I'll just know because they tell me. So when speaking the light language, it's almost like the frequency is so high, it just breaks up any blockages. So any energy blockages, any trapped emotions, any trauma, it just dissipates it, and transmutes it into love and light, which is what I channel.
Yeah.
So what I found is over the last couple of years, with us going into the new paradigm, which I mentioned, so the age of Aquarius, we're shifting from the old paradigm, Piscean age, which is why kind of COVID and everything's going on at the moment. We're shifting paradigms. Yeah. It's almost like they've said enough with being a victim, enough with taking years to heal your wounds. Like, do it already. Yeah. And so that's what this does. It's super fast. So if you've not, usually it depends how deep the thing goes, but usually the specific thing we're focusing on would be 1 or 2 sessions, but then then you find other things that might come up which then need healing as well. Yeah. But the deep level that I do it on, you just won't feel the same afterwards. You'll feel completely, clients have said, like, they feel like air, they feel so light. I also, one of the other things that I do is remove shadow entities which can attach yourself, especially if you're light. So I'm a light worker, and I imagine if you're watching this, you probably are of the light too. So when that happens, shadow entities or just shadows are more attracted to the light. We're like a beacon, and most of the time they're pretty harmless, but they can have an impact on us. They can make us sad, or they can make us angry or frustrated or feel lonely, or if you're feeling those feelings, they tend to exasperate them. So removing those as well from people, and then they find, all I can say is you finally feel like yourself. So that's the bit. There's so many things that it could be like, and I feel personally that when you just talking about it doesn't help, because it doesn't shift the energy, and it's almost like you're still marinating in it because you're still having to talk about it. And I have this from personal experience. I experienced a traumatic burglary in my 20s where I was sexually assaulted, and I didn't have any therapy on it. I had energetic healing and healings on it rather than to release that trauma. But I wouldn't be able to talk about it. It was too painful. I didn't want to go back to that, like that scenario. So that's what I enable you to do. We don't have to go back there. Like, we don't have to talk about it. And I think that's the power of it, because I think it is fun. I don't know, I can't speak for you, Katie, but I think it is fun. I just go into my own world, like, and just channel. So when I channel, like, it's like a switch in my head, so things just come through. So I don't always remember what I said, because it's not from me, it's from source or higher beings. But no one's ever sad afterwards.
No, there's definitely a shift. Absolutely, for sure. Yeah. I really relate to that, actually. A lot of my own sessions, when I'm with a client, I don't always remember everything. In fact, I have to take notes, because so much of it is like a channeling. And yeah, it's really interesting, isn't it? How when you're so present in the moment, and the words and the energies coming through, you don't necessarily remember it. It's just an experience, and it's not important to. It's like we've moved through that, we're moving on. It's like, yeah.
I had that with a client the other day, and she's had a shadow entity since 3 years old, and just not doing anything but just causing anxiety. And so when that was released, she just couldn't believe it, because she was finally feeling her true essence, how she would feel as a being of love and light, because we're all actually beings of love and light. It's our experiences that bring us down. And she couldn't believe it, and I was like, it's gone, it's done. You don't even need to think about it anymore. You don't need to, you don't even need to experience the anxiety anymore. It's done. But then it can be old patterns. So if your pattern was feeling anxious, you could slip back into that. But on an energetic standpoint and a releasing standpoint, it's done. Like, you can actually just freely move forward now. Which is just, Oh, I feel all tingly. I know the energy is really moving.
Lisa's just message saying so much energy and vibrancy, feeling there's a buzz around what Lucy's describing, and there is. You can feel it, right? You can kind of feel the truth of it, which is why, like, even when I've had sessions with Lucy, and she's doing the whole light language thing, and I completely just surrender to it, and I have to. I mean, even listening to you now, Lucy, and I know you, I trust you, you've been working with my clients, they love you, transformations are happening, it's all good, exciting, wonderful stuff. And I still listen to you explain light language, and there's still this little cynic going, what? What's she talking about, nutter? Like, there's still that, and our humanness kind of rallies against it. It's like, my humanness doesn't understand, my intellect does not make sense, but my body, like, when I surrender and I allow myself and give myself permission to receive the healing, like, on that level, it makes so much sense, but I couldn't put it into words.
It's so true. But I think like a couple of things there. Like, it's taken me years to own this, like, and come out the spiritual closet. I've had my gifts since birth. Like, it was tough enough being a teenager. Like, I was quite weird as it was. Like, I didn't need extra ammunition for the people that bullied me. Like, and I was trying to get a boyfriend as well, Like, so it's taken me a long time to be able to even talk about this stuff. And then even to speak to the kind of negative comment that we got on this, it's just like, it's still, some people just still aren't ready to receive this information. But again, logic is old paradigm. So logic, it's kind of old paradigm, it's patriarchy. So although the new paradigm, we do need masculine energy. Like, masculine energy is about taking action, and it's beautiful. Like, I'm in a 10-year marriage. Like, I love my husband, but the thing is, with the old paradigm, patriarchy, it's all been set up for men, and it's all been set up. There's no equality in there. It's just all about men, the structures, and everything else. Whereas with the new paradigm, we're moving into unity and equality, and it's about bringing in all the other energies. So there's a balance. But with the old paradigm, old way of being, masculine kind of way of being, that's logic. So try and logic yourself out of something. Whereas actually our deep wisdom, especially as women, like, in our wombs, in our yonis, in our heart, it comes from the body. It's body wisdom. And that's passed down by generations. And then you add your intuition into that. That's the answer. If you're looking for a solution to a challenge, and you're trying to logic your way out of it, like, it's not going to work. Whereas if you perhaps meditate, go for a walk in nature, and tune into your intuition. I ask for help now. I'm just like, tell me what to do, and then the solution will come. That's the new way of being in the new paradigm. And everything I might be saying might sound really woo, but what I would say is just try it, because it's so it's so much quicker. It's so much quicker, and we need more empowered, wealthy, turned on women leaders now more than ever
Amen.
before. Exactly. We don't have time to hang around in victim and shame and blame, and it's not even fun. That's the thing. You're not even happy when you're like marinated in shame, are you?
No.
Like, because you're not manifesting what you desire.
Yeah.
And that's another thing. It's all about desires for us women. It's all about desires and pleasure, and that is your route, like your roadmap to success. When you know what you want, and you are feeling empowered and turned on. And for me, wealth equals freedom. So when you have the freedom to make those choices as an empowered, turned on woman, that's when you become unstoppable. And that's when you magnetize and draw into you everything you want, including a man, if that's what you are looking for.
Amen. Yes. Yes to all of that. Yes to all of that. And it's funny because when you were talking, I'm thinking these are all titles of modules within this program. So there's a module on pleasure, there's a module on masculine, feminine energy dynamics, there's a module on beliefs about men, beliefs about women. You know, it's all like literally everything we've been talking about is modular, and which is wonderful and powerful, and it's an amazing program. I'm very proud of it. And then we have you that comes in and does the stuff that you can't teach. It's the cellular level healing. Yeah. And I think that's the beautiful thing, because you kind of warm everyone up and then they come and see me and like buckle your seatbelts. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But I think it's such a beautiful, I'm just so honored that you chose me, because I'm loving working with the ladies that are already on the program, and just they're such beautiful women. And love, for me, love is the only thing in the world, but I just love helping people find love as well. Like, my story is a very romantic one, and it's just, I want everyone to be able to experience that if that's what they want, because it's life-changing. And yeah, when I meet these women, it's just so beautiful, because you've already laid the groundwork. So it's so much easier for me to come in and then have conversations potentially on triggering things. And, you know, perhaps although we don't necessarily have to talk about it in my work, we might still have to look at it. You know, you can't just shove it under the carpet and hope it'll get sorted.
Totally. Actually, it's funny when you say I warm them up to send them your way. That's I do. So part of this program is they have a 2-hour reset intensive with me, which invariably is inner child work. And invariably what we're doing is working with the original victim. So we're working with their victim archetype, and we're looking at what needs to be looked at. You know, it's really, and that's a powerful clearing and healing in its own right. And then they come into you. So it's like multiple layers of healing and transformation.
Yeah. Exactly. And I think that work's so important, because the inner child is so important, and the experiences that have happened there really impact, like we said earlier, that your current relationships or wanting to call someone in. So then once the client's already open to that and has experienced that from you, it's easier for me to go on a deeper level, like cellular level deep, and just check that any of that trauma, or when I say trauma, it can be anything. Like, it could just be, you know, perhaps you were told off for showing off, or, you know, it can be anything. As a younger child, we perceive things differently. And your adult self might not remember. So yeah, and once you've done that work as well, Katie, it means that things are brought to the forefront a bit more. So again, it's easier for the clearing to happen, because it's already come to the surface. It's like ripe for picking.
Yeah, we make a good team, Lucy.
Oh, I love it. I just think it's one of the wonderful not only it's been such an honor and what like to meet you anyway, and then we just every time we talk, something beautiful comes out of it. I'm like, amazing.
I know, actually, when we talked, so the last time Lucy and I had was it last, no, it was time before last that we had a conversation. We were actually talking about all the women in the Daring and Mighty Love program, and we're sharing the transformation that they've been having, and my experience of them, Lucy's experience of them. And we're kind of comparing notes in a way to ensure that we were really offering the fullest holistic approach to this group. And while we were having that conversation, you were channeling stuff for each of the women that we were talking about, so I could then go into the group and share even more with them, so they were just receiving even more awareness, even more understanding. And it was just, you know, it's like we're totally committed to their growth, aren't we? And totally committed to them calling in love and feeling connected to the truth of who they are. Yeah, it's really amazing.
Exactly. And I think that's it. It's the different approaches.
Yeah.
Because there was stuff that you picked up on, and then the stuff that I picked up on, and that's so powerful when you have two people then looking after your well-being and supporting you.
Yeah.
Because it's coming at different angles and different approaches. So, and if you look at co-creation, it's more powerful the more people that you call in. So if you've got Katie, myself, and there's the three of us supporting you to call in your man, like how do you like, who do you want?
There's actually other experts that I bring into the program as well, so there's actually 3 extras. So yeah, it's a pretty well supported, well-rounded offering.
Definitely, because we're all holding that intention for that beautiful woman to find that person and receive the transformation that's for the highest good of herself.
Yeah.
And I think just seeing the results that your program's got, the women are so empowered, and it's so beautiful to watch them unfold on their journey and really step into their womanness and owning it.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's absolutely brilliant, isn't it? It's absolutely brilliant. Well, my darling, what's the time? Oh, we've been on for nearly an hour, so that's gone long. Of course we have.
Yeah, it's just every time.
Oh, Lucy, so good to have you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
how
much
can
for having me.
How can people follow you? What's the best way for them to follow you?
So you can find me on Facebook at Lucy Brand, The Mystic Ministry, or you find me on LinkedIn as well, Lucy Brand. And you can check out my website, which is www.lucy-brand, that's brand.com. I might just drop some links in the comments as well, and I'll respond to the comments. So thank you, everyone. Emma, Lisa, Lindy, Michelle, for showing up. That was really kind of you to be live. And if you have any questions, then please pop them in the comments, because I'm more than happy to answer them. And especially on the replay, just #replay, and I can answer those as
well. Amazing. Thank you, my darling. And if you're watching this, whether live or replay, don't forget the free 5-day challenge, Meet Your Soulmate, is coming up. We start a week today. So Monday, the 1st of February, we kick off. It's a full-on, amazing, transformational week. I'm showing you how to call in your soulmate, and we're doing the foundational pieces that you absolutely have to have in place to clear out the energetic blocks that are standing in the way between you and calling him in. So we have to do that work together. And then if you want to go on further and meet the likes of Lucy and experience her amazing healing, you'll be primed and ready. But it's all about preparing you to meet him. It's completely free. We start on Monday, the 1st of February, and I will drop a link below as well, so you can register for that. And
sign up, because if you are wanting to call in that special person, now is the time. Like, now is the time. It's just, it's just Katie as well. Like, you're in a beautiful relationship. I myself am in an amazing marriage, and it's just like that love and that support, just waking up next to that person that you know adores you and you adore them every day, is just the most beautiful thing. And if that's what you want, we definitely want that for you. So definitely join the challenge because it's free, like Katie said.
Yay. Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. All right. Thanks for joining us, darling people. Thank you, Lucy, for your time. And I'm going to be seeing you again soon because you're actually coming into my Evolution membership on a separate note to come and run a masterclass in March. Yeah. So that's coming up as well. Yay.
So much
They're
I'm so excited.
Yes.
Thank you everyone for joining. Thank you so much, Katie, for having me.
You're welcome, honey. See you soon. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.